Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard from my colleagues the reasons why the Representative Omar should be removed from this committee, but I feel like all the reasons have not just yet been stated, which is why I rise to add for the record. We've heard about the comments that were made regarding anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli views, but I rise to add to the record that as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've sat there and heard the representative actually spew anti-American rhetoric as well.
It is understandable why the author of this censure doesn't know what is up and what is down, because obviously someone who wants to talk about crimes supports a former president currently running for president that is facing 91.
Welcome back, everyone, to Unfiltered Headlines, the place where nothing stays hidden and the full story finally sees the light of day. Get ready, because what unfolded today is something Washington almost never delivers: real accountability. And the reaction? Let's just say the applause was powerful enough to shake the entire room, maybe even enough to stir Joe Biden from one of his quiet afternoon moments. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around until the very end. Because as the saying goes in politics, the moment the truth shows up, the excuses don't stick around for long. And today? There was no shortage of people heading for the exits. Let's dive in.
Is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to use that logic, well, then all those people should have just said sorry and we'd move on, right? But no, we don't do that. And let me tell you, I take a little bit of offense to what the hell is wrong with me. I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with me. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to hold the Constitution, and it's very simple. We really shouldn't even have this debate. If you break the law and you follow due process, there are consequences to your actions, even if you say sorry. So we can try all of the diversion tactics that we would like. It doesn't change the fact that someone broke the law and that someone should be held accountable. It is disappointing, Mr. Speaker, that their own party can't hold them accountable, that they have such hypocrisy. So with that, I yield 2 minutes to my friend from New York, Nicole Malliotakis.
Gentlelady is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard from my colleagues the reasons why the Representative Omar should be removed from this committee, but I feel like all the reasons have not just yet been stated, which is why I rise to add for the record. We've heard about the comments that were made regarding anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli views, but I rise to add to the record that as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've sat there and heard the representative actually spew anti-American rhetoric as well. I've been in that committee room where the representative equates Israel and the United States to Hamas and the Taliban. Absolutely unacceptable for a member of that committee. I've also heard the representative equate that it is the United States' fault that there is turmoil in Venezuela. That is not because of the oppressive socialist and communism that has spread throughout Central and South America in Venezuela at the hands of the Maduro and Hugo Chavez regimes. That is unacceptable. And as a New York representative, to hear the representative belittle, to try to diminish the worst terrorist attack on United States soil on September 11, 2001, as some people did something, that is unacceptable as well. And I hold the same standard for this side of the aisle that I do the other, because when another colleague on my side said something about 9/11, I also voted to have her removed from the Education Committee because I thought that was inappropriate. So I'm being consistent here, and I hope my colleagues will do the same to show that this is about consistency and accountability, because we should not have an individual with those views on the committee that is tasked with representing our country and our Congress to foreign nations. I yield back.
The gentlelady yields back.
Now 5 minutes
To the gentlelady from Michigan, Lisa McClain.
I see a trend going here, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I think it's interesting that you have all the Republicans asking questions right now, so I appreciate this hearing, Mr. Chairman. Clearly, we care, and I know you do. I know we've talked about the numbers, but I think it bears repeating. The federal government spent over $66 billion on illegal immigrants in 2023, according to the Federation for American Immigration. Does anyone here want to guess how much we've spent on homeless veterans in 23? Guess? High? Well, let's just start. Higher, lower, the same? Anybody want to guess?
Fractional.
Fractional. Thank you. 3 billion. 66 on illegals, 3 billion on people who have laid down their lives for this country. Can anyone explain up there why that makes sense?
Well, one is including all sorts of benefits, and one is just looking at a very, very narrow slice.
No, I'm using the same numbers. Sir, you are. I am using apples to apples.
It would be a very different.
I'm using apples to apples. So since you know, why don't you share with me?
We don't track U.S. We don't track U.S.
Okay.
veterans in the census, so that would be very helpful if we did. Then I would be able to give you a very.
But do you know the answer? Because I do. I do. So I appreciate your opinion, of which you have no facts on. But let me continue and let me educate you some more. The federal government, breaking that $66 billion down, let's look at what we fund. So you might want to get a pencil and paper and take some notes, because I'll help you do your job. $5.8 billion in SNAP, $10 billion in Medicare, $8.2 billion in uncompensated hospital expenditures, $3 billion for primary and secondary education for illegal immigrants, And how many illegal immigrants are given taxpayer-funded housing compared to the number of homeless veterans that are sleeping on the street? You don't know because you don't want to know. You don't want to see the numbers. Well, I do, and I can share with you the American people do. Because I'll share with you, the people in my district, in Michigan, of the 9th District, we care about our homeless veterans. We care about our veterans. And yes, we care about them a little bit more than we care about people who have broken the law to get here illegally. So I actually have some suggestions, and maybe some answers on how to fix it. Instead of $66 billion, here are a couple things we could spend. The White House has requested $13 million for the National Call Center for homeless veterans. I'm going to say it again, $13 million with an M, right? Maybe we could find that out of that $66 billion, right, different between million and billion, big difference, we could funnel some more of that $66 billion to our homeless veterans. Anyone opposed to that? Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we doing it? Anybody got an idea? Anybody got an idea why we're not, God bless you, why we're not doing it? I'll tell you why we're not doing it, because the Biden administration does not want to do it. Am I correct? Am I incorrect on that? I didn't think so. This year's budget request from the White House asks for $17.2 billion in mental health spending for veterans. That $10 billion we lose to Medicare spending would surely benefit to struggle with the mental health issues. So why don't we do this? America's a very charitable country. Why don't we take care of our own first? Anyone see a problem with that? Why don't we? I'll tell you why we don't. Because the Biden administration doesn't want to do that. It's maddening to me. The White House budget requested for caregiver support programs not $2.9 billion. Maybe instead of $3 billion for educating illegal immigrants, we can give more funding to caregiver support programs, right? We're all talking about both sides of the aisle, which ironically doesn't even want to participate in this hearing, sadly, but not unexpected. We all talk about caregiving is a problem, right? I hear that on both sides of the aisle. What would happen if we took that $3 billion and gave it to caregivers that live in the United States? Anyone have a problem with that? Why don't we do it? Anybody? The Biden administration doesn't want to do it. And you play games with your facts. And you play this shell game. Well, I'm going to share with you, the American people are not fooled, and they are frustrated and fed up with it. Let's just be honest about where this money is going so we possibly can redirect it to the correct place. Let's start with our veterans. Thank you, and with that.
Today on the House floor, something unusual unfolded. It was one of those rare moments when two Republican lawmakers stepped forward and challenged Representative Ilhan Omar in a way that completely changed the tone of the debate. The response from their colleagues was immediate and intense. First to speak was Representative McClain. She approached the podium with a firm message, emphasizing the importance of the Constitution and the rule of law. Her argument was straightforward: accountability cannot be selective. She stressed that holding office comes with responsibility, and that oath-bound officials must be held to standards, regardless of political affiliation. She also addressed critics who questioned her intentions, making it clear that her duty, as she saw it, was to uphold the Constitution. Her remarks reflected her belief that public officials must remain committed to the promises they make when they enter office. After finishing her remarks, she yielded the floor. That's when Representative Nicole Malliotakis stepped in. Malliotakis focused her speech on statements Omar had made in the past, which had already drawn widespread criticism. She referenced earlier controversies involving Omar's comments on Israel, U.S. foreign policy, and other international issues. These remarks had previously contributed to Omar being removed from the House Foreign Affairs Committee in a 218-211 vote led by Republicans, who argued her statements raised concerns about her role on the panel. Malliotakis argued that accountability should be applied evenly and consistently, and that debates like this reflect broader disagreements about standards and representation in Congress. As the speeches concluded, the chamber was filled with strong reactions from both sides. Supporters viewed the moment as a firm stand on accountability, while critics saw it as part of an ongoing political battle that has defined debates over Omar's role in Congress. One thing was clear: the issue remains deeply divisive, and the conversation surrounding Ilhan Omar is far from over.